Please be seated. Now, as you heard Pastor Danny say, but when he was doing the announcements this morning, he said, we are going to read the scripture reading for today. We're not usually in here, a lot of us. Sometimes the kids, we leave to go to children's church and we don't hear them reading from the Bible. So I'm going to be reading it today, but we're going to do something while I do it. But before we get started, the story comes from the book of Luke, and it's chapter 24, and we're going to read all of the verses 13 through 35. And it's a story about a trip. And some people were walking from the town called Jerusalem, and they were on their way to the town of Emmaus. And they tell us that that's about 7 miles between the two. And so a very wise friend of mine told me that Launch Trampoline Park is about 7 miles from this church. So that's if we were going to walk to Launch today. It might take a while, and we would probably talk with each other on the way. So that's what we're going to do. All right, are y'all ready to go walk on a journey with me? So let's go. We'll see how far we get. So this says, on the same day, 2 of them were going to a village called Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem. That's Jerusalem where we started. Okay. And they were talking with each other about these things that had happened. While they were talking and discussing, Jesus himself came near and went with them, but their eyes were kept from recognizing him. And he said to them, "What are you discussing with each other while you walk along?" They stood still, looking sad. Can your faces look sad? Oh, they looked sad. Then one of them, whose name was Cleopas, answered him, "Are you the only stranger in Jerusalem who does not know the things that have taken place there in those days?" Let's keep walking, y'all. So Jesus asked them, "Well, what things?" They replied, "The things about Jesus of Nazareth, who was a prophet, mighty in deed and word before God and all the people, and how our chief priests and leaders handed him over to be condemned to death, and they crucified him. But we had hoped that he was the one to redeem Israel. Yes, and besides all this, it's now the 3rd day since these things took place. Moreover, some of the women of our group astounded us. They were at the tomb early this morning, and when they did not find his body there, they came back and told us that they had indeed seen a vision of angels who said that he was alive. Some of those were with us, and they went to the tomb and found it just as the women had said, but they did not see him." Then Jesus said to them, "Oh, how foolish you are, and how slow of heart to believe all the prophets have declared. Was it not necessary that the Messiah should suffer these things, then enter into his glory?" Then, beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he interpreted to them the things about himself in all the scriptures. As they came near the village to which they were going, he walked ahead as if he were going on. But they urged him strongly, saying, "Stay with us, because it's almost evening and the day is now nearly over." Tell Jesus to stay with us. Say, "Stay with us."
Stay with us.
There you go. There you go. Stay with us. So he went in to stay with them. When he was at the table with them, he took bread and he blessed and broke it, and he gave it to them. Then their eyes were opened, and they recognized him, and he vanished from their sight. They said to each other, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he was talking to us on the road, while he was opening the scriptures to us?" That same hour, they got up and returned to Jerusalem. Y'all, let's run back to Jerusalem, okay? Let's go. Yeah, let's go. I'm pretty sure they weren't wearing wedges. Let's go. Go. Some of them ran kind of funny. Whew, okay, all right. So they returned to Jerusalem, and they gathered together. They were saying, "The Lord has risen indeed, and he has appeared to Simon." Then they told what had happened on the road and how he had been made known to them in the breaking of the bread. And this is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.